and to present you some advances in Colombia. So just a quick reminder where we are. We are in the north part of South America, and we are one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. Here you have some numbers of the species that we know that we have, but what people doesn't know is that almost half of our country is still largely unexplored, and that because we spent like 60 years in a war that prohibited us to go to some of these places. Well, I'm the PI of the conservation genetics at the Humboldt Institute. I have a background in ecology. I did my PhD in plant community phylogenetics, and at that moment, I started testing the DNA barcode markers that were on the scientific scope community at the moment to test them on the Amazonian trees. And for the last 9 years, I have been involved in several DNA barcode projects in Colombia with vertebrates, insects, and even fungi. I have been organizing the last symposiums of DNA barcode in Colombia and 2 hands-on trainings, the next coming very soon. So this is the account that we have so far for the country and for the amount of diversity that we have. Providing 3,000 beans doesn't seem enough, but the good thing is that there is a lot of work, so we are very excited to be part of it and to really provide the community with the information. You see that there is a lot of information on plants and invertebrates, but a lot of things to be done. The network, we have an official network, let's say, because it is not funded, but it started in 2008. Some researchers from the University of Los Andes start doing the meetings, but I guess that at the moment, all our legal restrictions for doing genetic research were so difficult that it really didn't allow us to go forward with the initiative. And we have never had a particular fund for this network, but still we are a team of researchers with the interest of working together, and that is already a lot of the job to be done. So we have been keeping the meetings every time that we have the money. And the Humboldt Institute since 2010 have been promoting the initiative and promoting small-scale research projects on DNA barcoding. Our future prospects is that Colciencias, which is our national science foundation, has been supporting DNA barcoding projects for the last 2 years, and they are willing to be like the main core members of the iBOL phase 2. So they will be paying the fee, and that will allow us as a country to really start doing barcoding in a larger way. So the Humboldt Institute was created by law in 1993. We are part of the National Environmental System. Our mission is to promote, coordinate, and conduct research that contributes to the conservation of the biological diversity in the country. So we are like the technical branch of the Ministry of Environment. We have 4 major research programs, and we host the second largest biological collections in the country and the largest tissue biorepository. Our tissue biorepository is found in liquid nitrogen and so far holds around 27,000 specimens, and it was created in 1998. We have a small molecular laboratory, but it's functional. We can do DNA extractions and PCRs, and there, I don't know if you recognize Manuel, but he was there at the beginning of the year teaching some workshop on DNA barcoding for plankton. Los Andes University is one of the best universities in the country. It's a private organization, but a lot of their top scientific staff are doing research projects on DNA barcodes. So here you have some names, people working on fungi, amphibians, plants, insects, aquatic mammals, and marine fauna. So one of the projects that I wanted to mention was this Colombia Project. Unfortunately, it's already finished. It's ended by August this year. But it was like a major opportunity that arose once that our government signed the peace agreement with the guerrilla of the FARC. So we were able to go back to the field to conduct biological expeditions, and all the samples that we were collecting, we were able more or less to barcode them. This was entirely done in Colombia. We were collecting then specimens for plants, fungi, birds, amphibians, insects, fish. We have at least 21 already recognized new species, so genotypes for the initiative. And we were able to establish also the pipeline for doing soil metabarcoding there. And this was with the advice of our colleagues from France. So this is, let's say, the contributions that we have from this project, but it's almost double the amount of public information that was there when we started the project. And what was really nice from this is that it inspired the governors of some of the particular regions in the country who decide to copy the project and to support new biological expeditions into particular provinces in Colombia that are Boyacá and Santander. And in those expeditions, we're still collecting the samples, doing some barcodes. We will just be providing around 3,000 barcodes from these expeditions, but all the remaining tissues will be there, ready to be barcoded. And finally, I wanted to mention this project. This is a workshop that we will hold in the upcoming weeks. I think it's 22 October to 31 October, and it was founded by the CBD. Its name is Hands-on Training on DNA Barcoding for Threatened Species and Regulation of Illegal Wildlife Trade. And this is mainly addressed to governing agencies. So I thought it was very interesting to put together people from the Ministry of Environment, the National Science Foundation, and we have the national parks, we have people from the environmental police and the office of the prosecutor. So they will be there. We will be like understanding their needs, and we hope that they will be understanding the method. And the idea is that at the end of the workshop, we will come together with a project that will help us to continue working on this. Our strengths, I will say, that is the scientific capacity that we have in the country. We have very good evolutionary biologists, ecologists, taxonomists. So our community of taxonomists is important and very well respected and active. We have good biological and tissue collections, and we have the facilities, let's say, at least for the first part of extraction and amplification, they are there. Our weakness is that the prices of reagents, materials, and sequencing is just like ridiculous. So for instance, right now, I think that we're paying around $25 per sample. So you were talking about $5 here?
$1 next year. $1.
Yeah, next year. No. And well, that we don't have any specific funding for those meetings and like working together, but still we do it without problem. And the threats, well, like in other countries, the changing policies and the following government. So with the last government, we had this project of Colombia Bio that was going very well, but we changed our president just a few months ago, and we are right now in a transition zone. We don't really know what is going to happen, but we hope that it will be good. Yeah. And all these emerging discussions about the restriction on genetic data. So that is something that is also worrying us right now. The opportunity, well, the megadiversity that we hold, that we are very proud to hold, and we know that we have the responsibility also to contribute with that. The post-conflict agenda has allowed us to strengthen all this international collaboration. And there is a current policy for green growth in Colombia, and so at least in the policy, it says that biodiversity, bioprospecting, genetic resources are a real important issue for Colombia development. That doesn't mean that we will have the money, but at least it is in the policy. So, thank you.